Hey everyone, Chris Centennial, Sports Talk 101. Today I'm at the Country Club of Big Ron Shaw, and the question we're asking today is, should Monty apologize to Ron? So what's your thought? Should Monty from the Monty and Pharaoh Show apologize to Big Ron Shaw?
Absolutely. I don't believe that Monty should have said what he said, and I definitely believe he should apologize to Ron Shaw for what he had said.
Sir, what do you think? Should Monty apologize to Ron Shaw?
Monty apologized to Shaw? Hell yeah! He's the champion. Hall of Famer, of course.
Sir, do you have an opinion? Should he apologize?
Most definitely. When you have a Hall of Famer and you want to insult him, that's a bunch of bull crap. He should be apologizing to him.
Thank you. Sir, do you have an opinion on Ron Shaw? Should Monty apologize to him?
Hell, I don't even like Ron Shaw.
Hey, who the hell are you?
You talking to me like
your own business, man. You're all drunk, you?
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. Monty, the people have spoken. Step up to the plate and deliver me the apology that I so rightfully deserve. I told you, you're a punk. And I'm going to tell you, our paths are going to cross again.
What do you need to just get the gun legalized, son? You don't have it happen again. Good God.
A&E had their second installment on documentaries.
Okay.
The first one was NWO.
Right.
This one was with Jake the Snake Roberts.
Did he show up for his own documentary?
He did. Very good.
Very good.
Jake the Snake Roberts once had a dream other than becoming one of the biggest professional wrestling stars ever.
Okay.
Before Ariel Smith Jr. stepped into the ring, he hoped to be an architect, having a love for working with wood and buildings. But at 18, he decided to give wrestling a try to prove his toughness to his infamous father, Grizzly Smith. Roberts was expecting a triumphant night before heading to college, but instead was embarrassed during his match and scolded by his dad. It led to him praying to the devil to help him one day to become the biggest wrestling star ever.
And bigger than his father, huh?
Bigger than his father.
Okay.
So,
congratulations. You prayed to the devil. You're bigger than your father. Enjoy hell. So it's going to be a long time.
all right, so they really gimmicked this documentary out. They really try to be dark.
Okay.
And Jake was definitely doing the Jake Roberts thing.
I got you.
The gimmick.
Is that so, Michael?
Yeah, that type of shit.
Is that what he did?
Right.
All right.
And with his lines,
Yeah.
interesting facts, which I think a lot of people know already, is Grizzly Smith was married to a woman who had a daughter that was 12. When they used to drink a lot, when the mother passed out, he went in the 12-year-old's room, had sex with her, and then impregnated her, and which became Jake's mother. Then he left that lady and went and married Jake's mother. And it just goes on and on and on. The devil, Jake didn't have to pray to, because the devil was Grizzly Smith.
Yeah.
And
You're right.
But here, we were going to have Jake in a few years ago when we first started. And
Right.
That ended up being a fucking
And he
problem,
jaked
too.
out.
He jaked out.
Right.
But one question I was going to ask him, because everybody knows the story, that Jake's been telling the story for a long time. Again, Sam Houston, the brother of Jake Roberts, didn't seem to have such a problem with his father. But Rockin' Robin was molested by Grizzly Smith. She actually gets emotional in this video. But this is what I was going to ask Jake. So in this video, it talks about how he hated his father. If anyone knows this, when Jake first got into the WWE, do you know who one of the lead bookers was?
Who that?
Grizzly Smith.
How interesting. Okay.
And I was going to ask Jake, if you hated him so much, how did you go work for the WWE then?
I would have loved to have heard his answer.
When I watch this documentary, I'm like, can someone ask him this question?
Right.
Because clearly Grizzly Smith was a devil in a lot of ways.
Sure.
But
I
let's
can
be
see- I can
honest,
see why you would say that.
Jake was equally not a good guy,
I could see why you would say that.
right?
I'm not disagreeing with anything here.
So I just thought to myself, well, is it just when it comes to money, nothing else matters? It doesn't matter that your mother was raped. And by the way, after Grizzly leaves the mother, he hooks up with another lady who's Robin Smith's mother. and Robin Smith's mother supposedly raped Jake. All shit you probably heard.
Right.
And again,
You know why these things are never asked?
Why?
Because we put false idolatry on guys like him. You would have the balls to ask him. I would have the balls to let you ask him.
You would ask him.
You know I would.
I
figured I'd throw a joke in. But
I know you
mean,
would.
To be very honest, how many Monty and the Farrells are there?
By the way, I just want to
There
read
ain't
something.
that many people going to just
Lou
ask him.
says it's simple
There's not that many people
to
going to
advance
just ask him.
your career, Monty. I get
Of
that.
course,
Lou.
of course.
But
that's the
then
whole-
you
yeah.
can't go on
Of course, Lou.
documentaries saying how much you hate somebody because clearly you didn't hate them enough.
To stay away from him.
No, you didn't. hate 'em.
Cha-ching!
That's it.
But like you said, advance. That's the bottom line.
I,
Advance.
I get it.
Yeah.
That would be the simplest answer.
Right.
And I would say to himself, so not
Right.
only did you pray to the devil, you basically sold your soul to the devil.
Yeah, how'd that turn out, though?
What did
I
Jake...
mean, as far as life goes, forget that he got booked to the top of the car. Who gives a fuck? How'd that turn out for him? Ultimately, that whole lifestyle. That work out well for his health?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
But then again, we keep on talking about the WWF days. You heard Missy Hyatt say
Oh,
she was partying way back then in the WCCW
sure,
days.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I never liked Jake as a wrestler.
I love
didn't.
Missy, but
I know you did. I did
Missy.
too.
Oh God,
I never liked Jake as a wrestler, and I never liked him as a human being. Did I find him entertaining? Yes. I could tell you guys a story. I was just telling my wife. Back in the day, they had the wrestling hotlines where you'd call, and God knows how much you paid. I
Did you
didn't
get
care.
in trouble?
I didn't.
Because my
which is
parents
weird.
saw that shit on the phone bill, and
How
they were
much
like,
was it?
"Dude."
How much was it?
Yeah, but if I say how much it was today, people will laugh.
No, I want to know.
That
because
phone call cost, if you stayed on the line and then you kept calling again because it was so cool. I remember one point my parents almost murdered me because I had $15 worth of fun. And $15.
That's a lot of money.
In 1982.
A lot of money.
Or 83 or whatever year it was, which was maybe like $65.
That's a lot of money.
Today. You know what I'm saying? My parents were like, what the fuck? Whoa, who are you calling? I'm like, I'm calling the wrestling hotline.
Right.
Rah!
Right.
And they were like, rah? And they threw me out of the house. Because I went rah.
Because you went rare. I remember one of the first calls I made was Jake Roberts was on there.
Yeah.
And he was smoking. You could hear him
Right.
smoking a
Smoking a
cigarette. And he was making it
cigarette.
clear that you could hear he
That's
was
great.
smoking a cigarette.
Right.
And I was flabbergasted.
Fucking funny.
I was flabbergasted.
Yeah. I did like Jake's character. I was a fan of Jake Roberts, but I wasn't a huge fan. He didn't enter Greg Valentine.
Lou says
area.
he cost his father $250 in 1992 from the Honky Tonk Man's hotline.
Loose.
Honky Tonk Man's hotline.
Loose rocks. That's awesome.
I was in
What did the Honky Tonk Man say, by the way? Send us a message. I would love to know what cost you all this money. What was he saying? Like, what is the Honky Tonk Man's hotline? What does he say?
I have no idea.
I'm cool. I'm cocky. I'm bad. Click.
Click.
$20.
Call back later.
Shit, that's all. You call back.
Jason says, I found Paul Stanley's backing track controversy entertaining.
Yeah, it's a shame though, man. Because by the way, Paul Stanley is very underrated. In his prime, that guy was a majestic vocalist.
And by the way, I wanted
Oh
to
my
finish
God,
up
what
with
a
the Jake
vocalist he
thing. I
was
was
back in
talking
the
to
day.
somebody on the phone today who's an older guy, and he was speaking of wrestling, and we always talk about these wrestling experts. And, and I was telling the story about Lanny Poffo. And I was telling the story, we got a lot of shit from people when we did a Kamala tribute show.
That was Lanny's opinion.
Well,
And we got all the shit
we
for
had
it.
Lanny called in.
That was Lanny's
and
opinion.
Lanny pretty much
Roasted him.
You could see it on the channel.
Yeah,
Look it up.
He roasted him. But he told the truth.
But-
this was what Lanny recalled.
But here's the thing.
yeah.
All the wrestling experts who were offended
All
by
attacked
that,
us. And
attacked
then
us
had
and-
no problem doing business with Lanny, though.
Exactly.
Fucking
So
hypocrite.
going
Get the
back
fuck outta
to the
here.
thing is like when it comes to
Yeah.
this fake ideology
Right.
of these guys,
Idolatry.
yeah.
But I got you.
Well, let's not forget about Jimmy Snuka, for example.
Right.
Look, I'm
Right.
gonna say it right here. Jimmy Snuka was a murderer, dude.
He
That's
shouldn't have-
flat. He's as bad as
shouldn't-
Chris Benoit.
He shouldn't have had a career after 1982.
No, he should not have. He should not have. And for anyone to idolize Jimmy Snuka, look, great. He jumped off the top rope. He was fantastic. Jimmy Snuka was as bad as Chris Benoit. Okay,
No.
Well,
You know what though? In the eyes of the Lord,
yes,
it's all the same.
gotcha.
To the eyes of the Lord.
Okay, so he didn't
But
pre.
to me,
he didn't
killing your
pre-set up.
entire flipping family.
All right, so Benoit
putting
thought about
Bibles over there and stuff
Benoit
like
thought
that.
about it.
That is
Snooker
just
was an
Benoit
anger.
up here in hell. Jimmy somewhere probably, not that I know where the heck.
But
they
let me ask you
wound
this:
up. I
does
don't.
it kind of even out?
Okay, I'm not
Does
claiming
Benoit,
that.
Does it even out though? Because Benoit knows he did something wrong and kills himself. Meanwhile, Snooker just flat out denies it.
I think that, as far as are you asking me what's worse?
I'm not
Because
asking you what's
there's nothing worse
All I'm
than-
saying is they're both murderers, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
One
I feel O.J.
planned it,
I
one
feel
didn't.
O.J. Simpson's a murderer. What do I know? I don't know
Yeah.
what I know. I don't know what I know. But sometimes people are able to slip through the cracks. I mean, Charles Manson didn't touch anybody. He's a murderer. He didn't even touch anybody. I don't know.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Moving
I
on.
say Charlie. You move on fast. You're like, Charlie.
I'm not a big fan of
Charlie.
Charlie.
Charlie likes
crazy.
you. What's the problem?
Yeah.
He'll